Welcome on in, everyone. My name is GirafaStev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club. I'm the very long and large enjoyer. Hey! Hey, you! Be quiet! No, that's not the reaction. Be quiet. Shut your mouth while I conduct my business. I'm GirafaStev, the president of the Long Boy Club, the long and large enjoyer of gaming, wrestling, sharing you and coconut cream pies, and my stinky cats. Tonight, we are probably finishing up WWE Day of Reckoning on the Gamecube. We've had a lot of fun with this game, but I'm pretty sure that we are coming up close to the end of it here. Triple
Will your
H has
stinky cats ever get cleaned?
well, you know, they clean themselves, and you know, and I kind of leave that to them. But honestly, being stinky doesn't necessarily mean they smell bad. Being stinky is a mindset, you know? And in that respect, they're always stinky.
Hello, Mario.
Crap, I did see the ping. Heyo. And share with you chat and coconut cream pies. Anyways, I don't know why I had the Donkey Kong Country cartoon on the mind. I was just like cleaning shit at work. And for some reason, it just popped into my brain. Also, chat's not working. Thank you. Just a second. Alright, try it now. Try it now. Yeah, we are approaching the end. Hey, there we go. We're approaching the end of Day of Reckoning, but before we get into it, I just need to ask chat, because, like, as I've been... Coincidentally, as I've been working on the Giraverse presentation...
It's almost time for a 2.5-minute McDonald's break, my dudes.
You need a better restaurant, homunculus. May I suggest... Culver's? Or Beefaroo? Those are two good ones. And they're much better than McDonald's is. And they won't give you indigestion. Probably. I don't know. You probably don't know what indigestion means because you've become completely goddamn, like, impervious to it with all the Cheetos you've eaten. You look at all those guys where it's like, my tummy aches, but I'm being brave. And you're like, tummy ache? More like,
you have no right to judge me.
Idiot.
How dare you?
You have no right to judge me. How dare you? Because you don't have power over me, homunculus. It is I who have power over you. Power over you to allow you to make me buy you more Cheetos. That is. Which I will do henceforth, dear. Yes. Yes, dear. I will go get more Cheetos for you. And I'm back. I got him. I got the ones that are free from dyes. The ones that Nelson thinks are really weird. But yeah. Hopefully everyone's doing well tonight. Hello, Tom. Hello, Bri. Hopefully you guys are doing okay tonight. Work has run me ragged this week, so if I'm a little lower energy than usual, that's why.
Hello, Mario.
It's gone. Now we can focus on the main character at the beginning, the homunculus. Dude, if I just had like a chair... Dude, if I just had a stream where it was just the chair, would that be an improvement or a drawback? Drawback? It would be a pog moment. Well, you know what, Tom Street? I'm glad that you agree that GirafaStev is integral to the GirafaStev Twitch stream. All this time I thought that I could be replaced by a piece of furniture. But you, my friend, You see, this right here is why I fuck with you, Tom. You keep it real. You keep shit real.
Without the GirafaStev has no punchline.
Exactly. But yeah, I've been thinking about, rather, like, I've been working on the Giraverse like introduction presentation, which is coming along here and there. I'm trying my best to work on it, you know, when I have time during the week. And like at the same time, coincidentally, I've been seeing a lot more things on Tekken lately. Which also coincides with the goddamn Day of Reckoning playthrough, where the character that we made is just a spoof on Heihachi. So, like, really, like, the stars are aligning on my YouTube feed. And I need to, like, ask you something, right, chat? I need to ask all of you something. Why is Tekken's roster so fucking weird? And, like, I mean that lovingly, right? I mean that lovingly. Because if there's one thing I like in games, especially games with, like, rosters of characters, it's having a bunch of characters that are just weirdos, you know? Or ones that don't fit in with... You're asking that about a fighting game roster, and I, in fact, am asking that about a fighting game roster, but not just any fighting game roster. But a fighting game roster that has a kangaroo in it. Hold on. Hold on, I need to put music on. Would you prefer a giraffe in Tekken? I would love a giraffe in Tekken. I would want him to go one-on-one with Roger here. Although apparently, like at some point, like early on in the Tekken lifespan, it isn't Roger anymore. It's Roger Jr. Hold on. It's actually Roger 2. It's Roger Jr. Hold on. No, because we have Roger, unnamed ex-wife, and Roger Jr., which Roger Jr. has been the kangaroo that we've been fighting as for, like, the past while now. Like, basically ever since Tekken 3, I believe. Hold on, like, when the fuck did Roger Jr. debut? Okay, Roger Jr. debuted in Tekken 5, it looks like. And I'm gonna be honest, chat. I'm not a huge knower of Tekken. Violently. Kangaroos can get divorced violently, and kangaroo boxing death matches. Dude, that's like the marsupial equivalent of, like, giraffes fighting for mates with their necks. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but have you seen, like, giraffes fighting each other? For, like, the chance to mate with a woman giraffe? They, like, swing their necks at each other and give each other major whiplash.
Well, it's a good thing you're ace then, eh?
Yeah, I know, right? I don't have to worry about debilitating neck pain. I only need to worry about major spiritual pain. Which I am working overtime to repair. And the pain of getting punched by Roger here. And his big kangaroo gob. Dude, I love PS1 graphics like this. Look at Roger here. Look at his perfect teeth. Look at his shiny red boxing gloves. The texture on him, that's really just a flat fur texture, but it looks good enough to be fur. Like, I love this shit. This here is an aesthetic for me. And then in the first game, you got Roger looking like this. Looking like a bunch of poo mounds. You can count all the polygons on this man with, like, one hand. Probably more like 2 hands. He's so adorable. I love him. You telling me that this guy can beat up Heihachi? Can beat up Egghachi, in fact? Get out of town. He looks very pettable. I should know because I've pet a kangaroo before. They're very cool, chat. I don't know if their name was Roger, but I have pet a kangaroo before. So what you're saying is Giraffa could never beat Roger up at the zoo. Gira would have a hard time beating up Roger, but he could beat up an orangutan very well, as you'll see in the Giraverse presentation. But no, I want to listen. One thing I would like to do this year, right, is I want to try to get good at a fighting game. You know, even if it's like,
Hello, Mario.
What's good, Giraffe Lord? Roger and Roger Jr., I guess, right here. This is not Roger father, right? This is Roger mother. I don't know why Roger father fucking left the scene, but Roger mother stepped in, and now Roger Jr. is stepping into the pouch. Did you see that favorite wrestler bingo I posted today? Yes, we will do that in the post show if that's alright. We'll do that in tonight's post show. Yeah. I want... But no, I've been thinking about getting good at a fighting game, and if I don't do Street Fighter 6 because of, like, Wrestler Alex, because I know that Street Fighter 6 is, you know, about to like put in a new character, Alex, and they reimagined him to be a wrestling-inspired character. They even had Kenny Omega come in and do motion capture for Alex. One of his moves is the goddamn one-winged angel and the V-trigger. Kenny is such a nerd, and we love him for that. Alex has King element. Dude, Alex versus King. Because, like, Alex is, like, a blend of, like, different, like, Western styles. Whereas, like, you got goddamn King over here doing, like, burning hammers and stuff. He's out here breaking necks and shortening careers. He's got that Mitsuharu Misawa fucking tight beat about him. Put him in some, like, green trunks, and you're all set. You now have instant goat material. Although, I guess not really goat, more like cat material, because he's a leopard. He's a leopard thing. Happy II and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds Day, Stev. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. II is in Cross Worlds today. But really, he ain't shit compared to my queens, Tangle and Whisper, who will almost for sure not have their new voices in the game. They will almost for sure not have their new voices in the game. But one can hope, you know? One can hope that they come in with their goddamn new voices and they have, like, rival interactions and stuff. And just to make me happy. For once. Just make a guy happy, Sega. If you did that, if you just gave me a smack roll of that, I would be very happy with that. But what's probably gonna happen is they're gonna give them sound effects just like they did the other characters. Sedge. Joker can be both your queens combined. No. I reject your reality and substitute it with my own. And that reality is... my furry queens are better than your anime bullshit. Write that on my tombstone. My furry girls are better than your anime bullshit. then, now, forever, and together. They're better. The clown couldn't even beat a bat. Oh, I see. You're fucking on it, brother. But no, have you guys listened to Tangling with Till the Heat Death of the Universe? Have you guys heard Tangling Whisper's voices yet? I won't show the whole, like, Chaos Case file, but I'll, like, grab the goddamn, voice clips for them. I have, and I thought you voiced them for a second. I don't know, chat, does this shit sound like me? Whisper's voice is awesome. Literally, it is perfect casting. I know I kind of said that, you know, I wanted them to be certain kinds of VAs, but I think in terms of the voice direction, it is nailed down. Listen to this shit right now. Listen, I know that everyone in the chat has heard it at this point, but I need you to hear it again, because when I heard it, I was just like, yes, this is it. This is it. Right fucking here is it.
Nope! It'll be the 5 of us! How's it going, guys? Thanks for calling! We're always happy to help, especially when something's going down here in our own backyard. Isn't that right, Whisper? It's no problem, sir. Here, allow me to demonstrate. Whisper, I could tell them, if it's okay with you. Oh, I guess not all of you know this, but Whisper used to be part of a resistance group called the Diamond Cutters. One of their members was a shapeshifter. Oh, that lousy mimic betrayed the team, and Whisper was the only survivor.
Sure, you could say that. Whatever gets the job done. It's nothing. No, it's not that. It's... well... yeah.
It's peak. What can I say? It's absolute peak. I love it. I love it to absolute death. God, that is adorable. I know! It's perfect. It's perfect voice direction. They're both perfectly casted. Whisper's VA is on Blue Sky right now. And, like, all of the replies are just like, oh my god, you are perfectly casted for this role. I can't wait to see what more you do with this character, so on and so forth. And honestly, if they do not have them come into the... like, they have them right there. They're new, you know? They got that new voice actor smell about them, right? If they don't put anything in Sonic Racing Crossworlds, that's going to be majorly disappointing, I feel like. I was going to bring that up, but I don't remember which VA it was. Here. Sorry, my Spanish isn't very well. Or at least, like, my kind of, like, my pronunciation isn't
my
going to be good.
McDonald's was delicious, my dudes.
I don't give a damn. Said the absolutely mean, I don't give a damn guy. Hurting the fucks out my feelings. Anyways, Aniris Quinones, I believe. Quinones. I may have gotten that absolutely incorrect, but I think that she does a fantastic job. The homunculus has to have a break from Cheetos eventually. This is the first I'm hearing about that, you know? It's the absolute first I'm hearing about it. And Ashley Madden absolutely...
detected.
Shadow the Hedgehog would like to know your location. Hi guys, let's eat us! Where? I just love Whisper the Wolf Sonic. That's a lot of people right now, I'd imagine. But no, I love Ashlyn Madden's take on Tangle here. I think that the energy that she brings to it and the inflection of the character is basically exactly how I how I envisioned it. It is perfect, honestly. Because she like brings like a lot like of kind of like hyperistic like energy to it and sounds very indignant when she's talking about stuff that kind of peeves her. Meanwhile, Whisper is just exact. Oh, hold on.
Whatever gets the job done. It's nothing. No, it's not that. It's...
I mean, to be fair, with a name like Whisper, you would probably expect something like this where it's mostly whispering. But just like kind of like, you know, the way or like the way that she inflects the voice is absolutely spot on. It's great. The homunculus has to have a break from Cheetos eventually. I was going to bring that up, but I don't remember which VA it was. It's crazy when you consider Whisper's VA also voices Mirko in My Hero Academia. Whisper sounds like Fluttershy if she was a trained sniper. Season 1 Fluttershy. But it's Agent 47 instead. You know what? No. It's kind of similar in a way because, you know, Fluttershy has a unique bond with the animals. Whisper kind of has a unique one with the wisps. You know? The only difference is that one is willing to kill. Like, literally in the Metal Virus arc, she would have shot Dr. Eggman dead if Cream wasn't there to stop her. Like, she was ready to catch a body, but Cream was like, please no. Will King Dodonpaw invite the Longboy Club to Crossworld? Dude, my mailbox is open. All he has to do is write. Okay? And I'll be fucking right there. Although I don't know how I'll fit into a car. I may have to send the homunculus over there. Hey, homunculus, are you good to race? I mean, I know you've been struggling to get your license, but, you know, you're getting closer and closer to it. I feel like an 80%.
Hello, Mario.
I feel like an 80% is, you know, close enough to fucking, you know, be able to race in a cart against Sonic the Hedgehog. That'd be pretty based, honestly. Hello, Emil Batstorm. Welcome on into tonight's Longboy Club meeting. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're having a good day. Didn't Fluttershy have a moment at that party and that one party in either season 1 or 2? God. You know, oh my gosh, dude. I didn't know you could say hi to Sari and it would, like, send, like, a virtual hug your way. That's cute. Best bot. I didn't know, dude, I didn't know that you could do that. That's very cute. Did Fluttershy have a moment more appreciative than Uberbot? Thank you for the hug, Bri. I appreciate it. I don't know why Bri isn't showing up there. But I did get one hug from Bri. I feel very nice. That's a very nice boost of serotonin. Hopefully this makes up for the booze. I mean, I know you're gonna do them anyways next time. I know what dad joke. Have you heard about corduroy pillows? They're making headlines. Brother, that's like the most big brain. Hold on. What the fuck is corduroy? A textile with a distinctly raised cord or whale texture. Modern corduroy is most commonly composed of tufted cords. Hold on. Hold on. Emil, do you understand the joke? Quick context squad. I'm raising the goddamn signal flares. Where's the context? Headlines. Oh! Dude, that's like obscure dad joke. What? Cat bites are more likely to become infected than dog bites. I didn't know that Seribot could do that shit. Can you like program your own facts into it? Because if so, I might have some ideas then. I may have some wrestling ideas then. I will input thousands upon thousands of wrestling facts that no one needs, but I want. Giraffe fact. Dude, that's another one. Holy shit, you're cooking. No giraffe facts. Okay, but can I add giraffe facts? Can I add giraffe facts into Seribot? Actually, hold on. I could just do that with StreamerBot, honestly. I could just find a bunch of giraffe facts and make that into a command. That's awesome. Dude, that's awesome. Deer fact. Deer have been introduced in many countries where deer are not native species. In some places, deer populations have grown so large that deer damage crops and natural vegetation. POV, you live in the Midwest. Yeah, this, I see the lines here now. Dude, that's not even, like, just a dad joke. Because, like, dad jokes, I feel like, are pretty low-hanging. But this is actually, like, incredibly, like... it's, like, big brain shit. You know? I wouldn't even know what the fuck corduroy is before Dad told me the joke. That's crazy. And it looks oddly itchy. Like, I look at this fabric, and I just know it's gonna feel bad against my skin, I feel like. I will feel the lines as they climb against my skin. Wolf fact. Wolves can hear howls from as far as 16 kilometers, 10 miles away. Oh, that's how I know this is a British bot. What makes you so sure? Like, look at this pattern. You know? It doesn't... I feel like it would, like, leave, like, indents on my skin. And also, like, it looks somewhere in between, like, hairy and silky. Right? So, like, it would be in, like, that weird in-between, and it would cause, like, major cognitive dissonance. I constantly be looking for, like, a shirt that's like, less intrusive to my overall understanding of how shirts should be. Dog fact. I say, having a not silky, smooth, weighted blanket. Okay, but are you comfortable, Tom? In Iran, it is against the law to own a dog as a pet. However, if an owner can prove the dog is a guard or hunting dog, this restriction doesn't apply. Muslim reticence concerning dogs is perhaps due to the fact that rabies has always been an endemic in the Middle East. Oh. It's not the dog's fault. Usually. Sometimes. Rarely. Good thing it's not called fun fact. Yeah, I mean, like, rabies isn't very fun, you know? That shit sucks. It's like, wow, well, that sucks. I can't have a golden retriever in Iran because it might make me sick. Oh no, I say as I lay in the fucking bed dying. Okay, well, I may be dying of rabies, but look at this. Hold on. I may be dying of rabies, but look at this golden retriever. You know? Would you or would you not risk it all just for this boy? Because personally, I would. Look at them. Look at this. Look at them. Look at them. I mean, rabies symptoms are kind of obvious, aren't they? Yeah, but like, look, let's pretend it's not so obvious. I need you to look at this guy right here. Because personally, I would risk it all for them. Personally, I'm very biased towards golden retrievers, though. I had one when I was a kid. And she was the sweetest little pea. Like, come on. Look at them. They're so fluffy. Their coats, like, droop down. They got, like, strands here that, like, hang off of the back of their legs and stuff. Look at them. And they got those big poofy tails, too. There's so much of them to love. I love that. There is so much of these big goobers to love. They're the best dog. Even better than pit bulls. Which, don't tell Romeo I said that. Because he himself is a pit bull. I've always liked medium big dogs more than small dogs. I've liked medium to big sized dogs too. But, you know, obviously I don't really talk about the dog that much on the stream because I'm more about my stinky cats. Which again is a mindset more so than a mode of stench, you know? It is a mindset more so than a mode of, like, smell and stench. The golden retriever, I have confidence, would not be very stinky. They'd be very lovely.
Hello, Mario.
I see how it is. You're treating the dog as a middle child. I mean... yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that, because in terms of pet ages, Romeo is, like, the youngest. Because, like, both Ollie and Henry are, like, 6 years old. Meanwhile, Romeo's, like, 1 year old. He's, like, literally, like, just a step above a puppy at this point. And he still has a lot of puppy-like energy, which is hard for me because I don't have the time to really kind of, you know, let that out. I leave that up to my roommates. But he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Puppy! Hello, Patch. Welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. Yeah, puppy. Puppy. You're treating the dog as the middle child. Listen. He eats. He drinks.
When will you get me a blue puppy?
When will you get me a blue puppy? Bluey. Listen. What happens if I type blue dog? Oh. Not at all goddamn Bluey. I was expecting Bluey. Not this. I love when they sit in random places sometimes. Dude, I looked up blue dog. I was not expecting whatever this is. Whatever this is. I'm glad there was blue for Blue's Clue. Oh yeah, that's right. You got like CGI blue here, which I don't know, as a 26-year-old is weird to me. That's my OG blue dog. The bluest of blue dogs, in fact. What is this dog? George Rodriguez. Blue dog, 1996. I mean, yes, that it is. It is a blue dog. I'm seeing it right in front of me. I'm surprised that, like, Blue from Blue's Clues showed up, but not Bluey. And given how it's, like, Google Images, I feel scared to, like, scroll down. Lest I see something that's gonna take me out of the mood of streaming tonight. The title does not lie. No, it doesn't. I wanted a blue dog, and I didn't just get a blue dog. I got the blue dog. The CGI blue is from the soft reboot of Blue's Clues. Is the presenter still named Steve, or is it something else? Does a new presenter come on and say, I am Steve? And then it continues on. We must find all 3 clues to find out Blue's favorite wrestler. Turns out the favorite wrestler is 2002 Randy Orton with his crossbody and overdrive. New presenter, but they're related to Steve and Joe. Oh, okay. I like how it's like... I like how the presenter of Blue's Clues is like a line of succession thing, you know? Like, the sword of blue gets handed down from generation to generation. Also bisexual, if I remember correctly. It's gotta be Blue Demon Jr. What about Blue Tista? Like, specifically this version of Batista with his crazy blue gear. Like, Blue doesn't enjoy any other version of Batista unless it's him in his crazy-ass blue gear. I love how they made an action figure of this. Teddy, you know that Ritsu either has this or he's hunting for this shit. What if it's the Blue Meanie? Dude, what if it's Dave Bautista dressed like the Blue Meanie? How about that? Blue Tista, but gender bent and furrified. I feel like that's just something that he would do for the experience. You know? When are we gonna get fucking... Hold on. When are we gonna get Batista, like, at Furry Week in Atlanta? And he comes in with his custom fursuit. Like, fucking, Violent J did. For his daughter. Because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but, like, when are we gonna get effing Stev? Wait, when are we gonna get effing Stev? Stev, don't get too familiar here. By the way, did you see what were the tag controls in the tutorial? I did, but I don't know if they're going to be, like, useful now, considering that we just lost our fucking faction. But no, like... Teddy, you know that, like, Ritsu is hunting for this, or already has, like, a copy of it. If I were hunting for action figures, this would be my white whale. This would be, like, the fucking... Damn, I guess I missed a lot last stream, LMAO. Yeah, because not only did we officially begin our tag team reign with Randy Orton, but we also got betrayed by Evolution after we wrestled Batista for the Intercontinental Championship. Triple H told us to get DQ'd with a goddamn sledgehammer. And then Randy Orton took the IC title off of Batista. So, speaking of, Batista and Randy Orton and the rest of the gang. We should probably get going on tonight's show, right? But first, I will go ahead and run an ad. I prayed for this and it happened.
Time.
You wanted this?
Where the heck's the cheaters,
Also,
my dudes?
Fluffy, welcome to tonight's Long Boy Club meeting.
Now, here's an infuriating game. Myst is a top-selling PC game, now available from Psygnosis on the Sony PlayStation.
Oh, just a second.
No other game best represents the sluggishness of CDs. Even when you have the fast transition option selected from the menu screen, the game performs as well as a snail. Myst is definitely a classic, though, and we see why. As we show you around the main island, notice the quality of detail in the graphics and the non-uniformity of trees and whatnot. Myst combines a surreal, what we call Gaia theme, and a scientific mysteriousness that both intrigues and perplexes. Oh, let's get back to the infuriating qualities. I almost forgot. We tried. We really tried. But even with a hint book, the game is invincible.
The game is invincible.
Very early in the game, and we
yeah, my
passed
tits
it.
broke again. I'm sorry,
is in the
chat.
spaceship, where you must enter a musical sequence to a tuner.
I really gotta get that checked out, you know?
And there's even a harpsichord in the spaceship, so you can play the notes, hear them, remember them, and enter them correctly in the tuner. Well, good luck entering them. Even entering one note at a time won't work for us. We know other players who got stuck here too, but they
I need to ask my trans friends how
this is absolutely ridiculous,
how you don't break your
because
tits.
even though you know the solution, you can't execute it. Another
Stab
gripe,
out of
Myst has no
context.
password feature, so memory cards are a must. One thing that
My big
isn't a
milkers
must,
are
however,
broken,
is
chat.
Myst
I'm
itself.
sorry.
Sorry, guys, but I've had enough of being mystified.
At least I asked
And
my
if I have to
transgender
put up
friends
with one
how,
more groaning noise from the PlayStation as it
how you
very
make sure
slowly
that
switches
they're
screens,
in tip-top
I'll
shape when
freak
you need
out.
them. Or I'll freak out! Speaking of freaking out, let's play Day of Reckoning. Let's try and finish it tonight. I honestly have my doubts that we will. But I have some hopes. If we don't finish it tonight, we'll finish it next time. Because oh yeah, by the way, hey, Egg Hachi has a new look.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw. I cannot be remiss to tell you about Egg Hachi's new aesthetic. He's hard boiled now. He's got a brand new look that stays at least somewhat true to his original look. Because he knows that in order to defeat evolution, he's got to step up his game. He saw the line in the sand, and now it's time to find out who he really am. Me would like to be you, wouldn't me? But it doesn't matter. You snows, you lows. Guess being burned every time on his entrance could do that to you. Oh, brother. Batista has a point. Oh, no. Dude, he's about to owe me with facts and lot. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Wait, are we getting the Bad Bat together? Dave has a point. Since when? Since fucking forever, honestly. You got that charisma. Can you say the Mojave Desert? Look, we both know that Triple H used us both. He made fools of us, right? Dude, what are you talking about, brother? Brother being Tom. Look what he did to her. Dude, look what he did to you. You earned a title shot against me, and he used you to serve his agenda. I just noticed a Triple H logo on the bottom of the chapter intro. Yeah, because that was the Armageddon intro, I'm pretty sure. regardless of the fact that you had to sacrifice your title shot to do it. When you got DQ'd attacking me with a sledgehammer 2 weeks ago, Triple H was using you to make sure that I wouldn't be 100% for my title defense against Randy Orton last week. You might have a point. Think about it. Triple H didn't care about you or your title shot. You were never going to go any further under his guidance. All he cared about was that he could use you as a time bomb, and not even you knew about it. Look, I'm not pissed at you anymore. Just do me a favor and go out there and beat the living hell out of that punk Orton. Look, I don't like you much. I definitely don't. Oh my god, dude, his little fingers. I definitely don't owe you any favors, but consider it done. You can watch my back if you want to make yourself useful. Dude! He was our ride or die. Yeah, like, Egg is a fucking dick. Dave was loyal since day one. You know what we fucking did? Oh yeah, that's right. New entrance too. Pay attention, chat. Why does he look like a diva now? Wait, why does he look like a diva now? Because he always was. Yes, walking out in the smoke's clever because hard-boiled. And he's also cooked, dude.
Hello, Mario.
He no longer gets cooked. He controls the fire. The fucking Basham Brothers Titantron LMAO. It's a callback to his old rivals, dude. Also, we don't have a tag team title anymore. I guess that shit was vacated. Fucking Basham Brothers LMAO. I know. Also, hi, Ironsides. Man Bad enters the ring. Randy Orton will be eaten. In terms of the sea, he's a small fish in a giant-ass pond. Akashi lost his smile. Vacated due to injury. I don't know. I just think they gave them back to the fucking I think they gave them back to the Basham Brothers, honestly. It's what I would do. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and play new music for you. Chat. Now it can go to TNA. Exactly where he wanted to go from the start. Oh, hey! Oh, hey, I got Batista at ringside with me. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn up music a little bit. I got the Persona 5 Scramble version of Last Surprise in this shit. The best version of Last Surprise. God damn it, I need to stop doing the springboard like that. I know it doesn't hit on the floor. Eat my fucking tiny hand punches. I've not played Strikers, but a lot of my friends have. Oh, hey, I get a good look at Batista's head. The ref's quitting. Dude, he quit. Dude, he's thinking about it. Do you see that? Paid off by evolution. I'm gonna get the fucking championship that I should have gotten, brother. I played a good portion of it. Good game. One day I will play it.
Break!
I'm gonna fucking break you, brother. You know, the only thing worse than a down referee is a quitter referee. Dude, the refs in this game are kind of crap. Like, you see this, right? They keep, like, leaving the ring. Like, they keep doing, like, the international spot. They're honestly cracked. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing half the time. Haha, they're cracked. Yeah, like an egg, brother. But they're cracked. They're not hard-boiled like goddamn egg is over here. Like goddamn egg Hachi. But no, we actually found some gear for him now. Honestly, the gear is pretty crazy when you think about it. But I think it's very true to the vision of what we've been trying to do with this character from the beginning. You know? I think the vision of this character has been pretty fucking consistent. And that is making him as gay as possible. Because there's anything that, like, AEW has shown me recently, is that we're not making wrestling gay enough. And we need to change that if we want to survive. But egg isn't a type of fruit. Why not? Why can't it be? Ah, dude! Dude, I got the ref. I'm not done with him yet, ref. Haha, fuck you, Paul. You just gotta sit there and watch. Ow! Come on. Dude, count it. 1. Nah, are you kidding me? Dude, that was like a 5 count. Are you kidding me? That shit was a 5 count. You say egg isn't a type of fruit, but I think that's fucking quitter talk. In the Giraverse, it is what I make of it. Ow! Ref, eject him. Wait, hold on. Fucking eject him, ref. So like, given how this story is kind of like given a different version in the SmackDown side of this campaign, would this mean that at this point in time, Big Show would be in my corner? Or would it be like Charlie Haas? Like who out of the new Ministry of Darkness would be in my corner? Ow! Yeah, you fucking tell him, Randy. Ow! Are these games just way looser with manager stuff? I guess I guess fucking so. Pretty sure Big Show. Ow! Dude, that's fucking awesome. It wouldn't even be the first time that, like, Undertaker has made Big Show look like an idiot. Batista, please. Home slice. I need your help, bro. Ow. Ow. My fucking leg. Yeah, exactly. Get him out of here. No! Damn it. He's trying, but that paid ref's holding him back. I know, right? Piece of shit. No. No, RKO! Ow! Batista! Okay, okay, okay. Good lord. Holy shit. Why don't you, Batista, pull some money to pay him off? Why don't you guys pull some money? Listen, man, ever since we got kicked out of Evolution, it's been hard times, baby. You know? It has been hard fucking times ever since we got kicked out of Evolution. I hope you understand the plight. You know, the checks are coming in like they fucking used to. Ow! The checks are not coming in like they used to. Stop reversing all my shit! Get out of there! Brother, don't make me tap the sign again. Ow! Dude, no way. Did the redeem fail? It says tits down tonight, brother. I need tits to make things throw. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. No, I mean, like, the consistent failure of tits is kind of a bit. But it's not really one that I like. Believe it or not, I enjoy it when things can work reliably. Okay, cool. I mean, it's a taped show. We can just, like, alter that, right? Like, we can just, you know, fix that up in post, I'm pretty sure. You fool, Triple H doesn't work Tuesdays. The only reason that Egg Hachi isn't on SmackDown is because Triple H wanted to work Tuesdays, which is odd, because he didn't used to want to do that. But life's hard lately. Alright, Batista, I need you, man. Please.
Hello, Mario.
Submission! Hello, Sushi. How are you doing tonight? Welcome on into Welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club meet. Dude, the ref needs to stop leaving the goddamn ring! Mike Chioda! I'm not... No! Bitch! That's not how this shit works! Hey! Hey! I wonder if tag controls work for managers. It doesn't seem like it. It does not seem like it. He's just standing out there mocking. Oh no, and Dickie's AI logic infected the ref. Dude, I guess fucking so, because wow. No. Okay. Yeah, waste that shit. Waste that shit! Let's go! He did a cutter, but not the cutter, exactly. He's taking me lightly just because he has Triple H in his corner. Well, listen, I'm gonna show him what happens when you underestimate Egg Hachi. Good job attacking your boy, Paul. Dude, Mike Chioda, dude, what the fuck is Mike Chioda doing? He is having a moment. Batista! Okay. Holy shit. What? No! No way, Batista! Batista has his finisher! Yes, Randy does do the RKO in this game. Batista! Batista! Get in the ring, dude! Why does everyone have no sense of direction in this game? Ow! We're way past 2002. We are... Yeah, we're past the overdrive days, brother. We're cooking now. Kinda. Ow! Man, just like... dude, we're out here putting on a clinic at Armageddon. Wow. No! No. Please! Oh my god, Batista, dude, the ride or die! Batista's taking it to him! Batista's taking it to him! This fucking ref is paid off! Dude, who the fuck is gonna blink first? No! I didn't want that! Batista, I'm pretty sure that's what they're chanting. The Batista, no! Ah! Batista! Okay. Holy shit. Yeah, holy clap indeed. Wow. No! What the fuck was that? No! RKO! Batista, please! Holy shit! Get him! Oh, momentum shift! And the referee's distracting when we get the fork! Holy shit! Wow! Oh my god, dude, we got the fork! We got the fork! Ow! Stop fucking hitting me!
1, 2.
Dude, I cannot get fork-based offense and then lose. Oh, small package! 1, 2, 3! Oh no! Dude, I thought that Triple H. I just looked it up. Charlie Haas is Batista? Wait, hold on. Then who's who? Like, who the fuck is Randy Orton in this predicament? Dude, do not tell me that Big Show is goddamn Randy Orton in this predicament. Big Show is Flair? Oh, that's funny. I love that. I love that for Paul White there. Dude, me and Orton are taking each other to the absolute limit in this match. What Triple H is Val Venus? Dude, why do you insist on always saying the worst hypotheticals? Not the drop toe hold. You always present hypotheticals where like the only obvious answer is I would kill him harder. Booker T as Randy Orton is so funny.
1, 2.
Okay, I was about to say, Batista, why are you standing there? The hard-boiled egg! I was about to say, man, can you, like, help me, please? Stop reversing everything I do! Why isn't the ref ejecting Triple H and Batista? Because he's paid off, dude! We already established this. This is a fucking crooked official. Orton does suck, dude. Bleed! Bleed, you fucking child! He's a sports entertainer. Oh my god, I know! Man, bless me. Wow. I'll fucking keep hitting you with these, you bitch. Don't think I won't! Oh! Pile driver! Onto the bloody head of Orton. No.
Break.
Dude, you have not rope breaking him at all in this match. I'm pretty sure that you are not on the up and up, Mike Chioda. If I knew any better, Triple H had you paid off to make his boy Randy look good. If I didn't know any better, you weren't on the up and up. Don't no-sell the Michinoku driver! Why? Why does everyone no-sell my shit? No. Ah, Batista. Okay, that's the finish.
1, 2, 3.
No way! Teamwork! Teamwork won the championship! Teamwork won the Intercontinental Championship on this night. The finish is getting tripped up by Batista. Dude, you still want to say that Batista wasn't hot shit?
This was a certified hood classic.
The arena gets set on fire. Yay, we did it. Dude, I barely countered any of that. Wow. I barely countered any of that shit. That was crazy. Also, hey, thank you for the 3 stream streak, Sushi. Chat, I want to get your opinion on something, right? Because I've heard kind of conflicting things about this. How do you guys feel about, like, the watch streaks? You know? How do you guys feel about the watch streaks that, Twitch has integrated? Hit or miss, TBH. Because, you know, I don't mind them, it means more points for us. Because I've heard, like, people say that it makes them feel pressured into watching more. Which, like, I don't necessarily understand. Like, I don't really feel like that I, you know, make my channel point rewards too expensive. So, plus, like, sometimes, plus I usually forget that they're there. Much of the time. So, like, I don't feel really a need to, unless you make everything...
Mario.
Ragman! Dude, I don't think I've seen you here, like, ever. Holy shit. How the heck are you doing, man? Hopefully you are having a fun night tonight. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. It says you're live.
Stampede!
Ah! With the Long Boys, Girls, NBs, and AGs. Hello there.
Hello,
Hi.
Mario.
Hi, guys. Welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. Holy shit! Two! Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. Hi. Double the raids, double the... Exactly. Z and Reg with the Long Boys, Girls, NBs, and AGs. Hello there, both of you. Hopefully you had a fun night doing whatever it is you were doing. Did you have fun? And tell me what it was that you did. For those of you who do not know, my name is GirafaStev. I'm the president of the Long Boy Club, the long and large enjoyer of gaming, wrestling, other hyperfixations, and my stinky cat. Tonight, we are playing WWE Day of Reckoning. We just won the Intercontinental Championship from Randy Orton after he and the rest of his Evolution stable betrayed us. And we've teamed up once again with our good buddy Batista to hopefully take down Evolution once and for all. Over here on this channel, you can expect a lot of wrestling games, as well as role-playing games, strategy games, custom world building, and just other such things that I am just obsessed over at any given time. If that sounds cool to you, I would appreciate a follow. I would appreciate it a hell of a lot. We were doing a big collab of Elden Ring Convergence. I need to play Elden Ring again. Anytime I try to play it, I get really intimidated and then I drop it. But I can see it's a very, very well it's a very, very well made game. And it is just a certified skill issue that I cannot enjoy it as much. Dude, we are the Intercontinental Champion. That's crazy. And, dude, and we're a main eventer? Look at that. Look at our status. We're the main... Dude, we're a main eventer and we have the Intercontinental Championship. That's awesome. Oh, no. I really hope that doesn't mean we need to fight Val Venus and fucking Lance Storm again. But yeah, like, if you guys need to raid and run, absolutely fine. Go do what you need to do. I just appreciate you guys bringing your community over here. Thank you very much. Hold on just a second here. Alright. I'm pretty sure Triple H is going to cut a really long promo on how we don't deserve the IC belt. Watch this. A bounty on your head.
Stampede!
What the fuck? 3!
Hello, Mario.
What? Hold me. No. Ain't no stopping Itsune now. Hello there. Hey Itsune, how the fuck are you doing, man? Thank you for bringing your community on over here to the Lawn Boy Club. I really, really appreciate all 3 of you guys. That was very, very cool of you to do it. Dude, I got the fucking Stargazers. I got the Wolves. And I got, I believe, the Red Pandas. Is that what you are, Ryke? Howdy. We appreciate you too. Oh. Dude, you know what I appreciate? I appreciate the Intercontinental Championship as it clips through my goddamn shoulder blade. Tanuki, got it. Man, I went through all that effort to make a new Titan, to make a new entrance, and it gets used once. I go through all of that effort. Come from behind the bacon shaker, the bull cricker, get in your mind, you're a fat little rap you. I was stupid. How is stream going? It's going okay. I mean, we just kind of started recently, so. The intention is to finish up WWE Day of Reckoning tonight. A game that I have absolutely fallen in love with. I adore this game. It makes me wish I had a Gamecube when I was a kid. But unfortunately, I had a PS2, which means I had the SmackDown vs. Raw games, which might be better. I would say in terms of features, they're absolutely better, but in terms of like the moment-to-moment gameplay, I don't know. I like what Day of Reckoning does a lot. What I don't like is fucking Shelton Benjamin super kicking me in the back for the umpteenth time. I don't know, man. I don't know if you can win this belt with without your mama. Or being voted on by the fans at Taboo Tuesday. Does Shelton Benjamin hurt people back then? I think he's about like 25 years away from hurting people. I don't think when you have your mama at ringside you can really do much hurting. It kind of feels like that you're gonna, you know, do something to upset her. Good old character customizing an old game. Dude, very cartoonish proportions. That right there was the point of this. His name is Egg Hachi. He's hard-boiled. He has big fish lips, sunken in eyes, goth makeup. He's great. Fair enough, Mama knows what's best, does it? I mean, like, listen. Mama helped goddamn, Shelton not really win any belts, but she did lower his self-esteem. So that counts for something, I feel like. But no, Akachi has been an absolute, just, like, mark for, like, the entirety of this playthrough. He's been, like, palling around with Triple H. He's been basically doing his bidding. And now Triple H has betrayed us. But now we're the Intercontinental Championship. We won the belt off of Randy. And now we're here wrestling Shelton Benjamin on Raw in non-title action. But hey, the IC title is the workhorse belt, so we need to put on a clinic here with the standard of excellence, Shelton Benjamin.
It's almost time for a 2.5-minute Cheetos
damn.
break, my dudes.
Hold on, let's see if I can snooze it. Yes, I can. Fantastic. But no, genuinely, like, I said it before, but I don't know if I'll be able to, like, recreate this in a future game. You know? Like, I don't know if I'll be able to recreate a character that looks like this in, like, a future goddamn wrestling stream. I'm pretty sure that... Oh, no, not the German suplex! Holy shit!
Break!
No. No, 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 no. I'm gonna make you waste that shit! No!
1, 2, 3!
Dude, you coming immediately on a loss. Why the sickly Stev? You know what? I don't remember. I need to turn that off. I need to be happy. Because I was raided into by some of my furry friends. And they were very, very cool to do that. After they played some Elden Ring. Which continues to be intimidating for me. Stev, you're all better now. Did the medicine work? Well, when you gave me that Big Mac, you know, at first I was a little skeptical, but then I tasted the sauce in there, and it turns out that sauce is full of antioxidants. And now I'm all better again. What happened after you won? Nothing really, I just kind of celebrated with the title. But we are the Intercontinental Champion now, so you know, that's good, I guess. And now we're facing Shelton Benjamin here in non-title action. I do hear that he hurts people, so I should probably be a little careful. Oh no, not a sleeper hold! Nice.
Nothing beats a
Cool, refreshing sip of water. Thank you very much, Itsune. Give me a second. Shelton Benjamin. Triple H and Shelton Benjamin. Close enough. Welcome back, SVR06. I just got word that Shelton Benjamin is not cleared to compete tonight. Meanwhile, he showed up on the previous match. But no, like, I don't think, like, a 2K game will let me, like, recreate a character like this. There's just, like, a lot of moving parts to it that are hard to, like, mimic, you know? Nice. The proportions are just too fucking exaggerated, I'm afraid. Maybe 2K26 and 27. They have the 2K 17 through 19 body morphing back. Then maybe I can do it. Maybe I should try that, but like, I don't know. I'm not gonna buy the new 2K game. I will play it if someone gets it for me, but other than that, I'm not going to. And the Steiner body type, to my knowledge. Because I'm, like, diametrically opposed to supporting anything WWE does in the modern day. You know? I feel like I'm probably gonna acquire it since they've Island PC off again. Oh wait, can you not do the Island in PC again? I mean, not like you would want to, because the Island is trash.
It's almost time for a 2.5 minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
You know, that's still, like, content that's not in a specific version of the game. No, PC's Community Creations isn't cross-platform. Probably because of, like, modding. Okay, break time. Let's go. And then we'll be back after that.
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Imagine a skateboard without wheels and used as a single ski board. That's the concept behind Cool Borders. The graphics look great in still frames, but they're a disappointment in real time. Also disappointing is the play control. The high speed and challenge of the game make it difficult to navigate the courses, even with the hard turn button. Jumping is also awkward. It feels delayed or held back. As in many other games of this type, you can perform tricks to earn points, but that's kind of pointless. No pun intended. The main goal is not simply surviving the levels, but beating a certain time set previously by a fictional player. This takes away from just being able to have fun, and that announcer! Ugh! Somebody shoot that dweeb! He's one of those guys with slow motion syntax and overdrawn emotions, saying things like, "Way cool, man! Totally rockin', man! Whoa, I thought you were history!" and "Are you tripping out or what?" Sometimes you wish the goal of the game were to hunt that wiener down and kill him.
We'll wait until the commercial is done.
Spare serotonin,
Let's see
please.
if we do it. No! Pat, 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 pat. There. Did it. Hold on. I'm gonna reset goddamn tits. I'm gonna reset my tits here while we're waiting for everyone to get back. I have a button here on my stream deck specifically for when this happens. Specifically for when this happens. I have a button for it. Come on now. Hey, there you go. Cool. Now, I will try serotonin one more time once this boots up.
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my
Hey,
dudes.
welcome back to Raw. Let's see. Pat the Rap. Come on, give me some.
Spare serotonin, please.
Give it to me. Yay! Okay, cool. Well, you got it. Good job. Wait, maybe? There you go. That rubber chicken was late. It really was, yes. Alright, there you go. Now it should be okay. Anyways. Fight music. Major circuit, baby.
Break!
Coffin drop. Okay. Dude, the ref was right in the way. This ref is not only paid off, he's incredibly reckless. You suck at your job, Mike Chioda. And because of that, I'm going to TNA. I'm taking the Intercontinental Championship with me to TNA. Which is how the TNA partnership should have gone. With WWE. WWE, if it had guts. I'm taking the Intercontinental Championship to TNA. That's a high flyer move? Day of Reckoning? I beg to differ, but okay. Ow. Dude, why do I keep going for that freaking springboard? It never hits. She's not gonna hit, bro. Look, it's high flying by WWE standards and no one else's standards.
Break!
Fuck your special. No! Get up there! You gotta hit the BME! BME! Shit! No! My BME! Please, no! WWE in the early 2000s said that, I know. We were cooked, dude. This shit was cooked. Oh, hey! Hey, quick roll up!
1, 2.
Man, Shelton. I'm gonna call your mama. Tell her you should be acting like this with your coworkers. There you go. Will someone call it a fruit roll up? Me. I will call it that now. I will call it that from now on. They need to call that the next big gay brunch from fucking Effie. Like, anytime that someone does, like, a goddamn roll-up, the people on commentary need to be like, oh, it's a fruit roll-up! Ah! Oh, break. Yay! Cool. We're not cooked just yet. We're not cooked. We're not cooked. Yeah, baby. Another piece of yours is home. The BM Ow. It's taped, right? Pretty sure raw. Ow. And Sean's like, the fuck you saying this is tape? No, it's not. No! That is a lot of text, dude. I'm sorry. I request that if you're gonna do giant text like that, please put it through the homunculus. Or maybe I need to make a brand new... Maybe I need to make a brand new, like, TTS thing that's not in character. That you guys can use to, like, put out, like, giant things.
1, 2.
I just found out something interesting. Researchers from the University of London Psychology Department discovered that adults who keep sentimental items from their childhood, particularly toys or stuffed animals, often exhibit greater emotional strength and mental steadiness. The study explains that these keepsakes function as transitional objects, first providing comfort and security during early stages of development. Later in life, holding onto these items is associated with healthier emotional control, lower anxiety levels, and more effective coping strategies when facing stress. Psychologists suggest that preserving such objects points to a well-developed emotional memory system, allowing individuals to better navigate both past experiences and present emotions.
Cool. Maybe I should have kept my giant goddamn cardboard cutout of Edge. Maybe then I'd be more emotionally stable. No. No! No! Ow! My fucking... Ow! My neck! Oh, I'm back up! Finally! Finally, I can no-sell offense now! Yes!
In other words, there's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.
Exactly. Which is why I need to find my... Which is why I need to find my, cardboard cutout of Edge that I had in my room when I was 11. I need to find that shit again. Ah yes, I've been working the head all match. It is time for submission wrestling. It is now time for submission wrestling. I need to find my old Game Boy again, dude. Fucking played Chicken Little on that shit. I did that forever. I would do that forever. Dude, are me and Shalom just gonna trade finishers here? That'd be cool as shit. No way! Stay down! Ugh. Holy shit! He's hard-boiled! He's hard-boiled! Makes him bleed! 1, 2, 3! Dude! What a finish, Jesus! I'm sorry, but that right there's gotta be like an A. It's gotta be an A grade finish. Give it to me right now. Or maybe after this cutscene, I don't know. I didn't realize that was a quote from Tom Baker. Which number doctor is Tom Baker, chat? Please tell me. Oh boy. Oh, Sean! 4th Doctor. Okay. He's the scarf wearer. Okay. Hey, Egg. I didn't know if you've heard the news yet, but you better watch your back. What are you talking about? Rumor has it that Triple H and Flair have put a bounty on your head. And that means that just about anybody in the locker room has the incentive to take you out. Anybody, huh? Is that right? Hey, don't worry about me. I've crossed paths with Triple H enough times in the past to know better than to play his stupid games. I wouldn't take his money, but just about anybody else probably would. Like I said, you better not trust anyone and sleep with one eye open, if you catch my drift. I do. I'll be on the lookout, and hey, thanks for the tip. I don't trust Shawn Michaels, brother. Never Dude, a C? I'm sorry, but busting a man open is an A-grade deciding move. Okay? That right there is an A-grade deciding move. I don't know what to tell you. As I was saying, if you need to put all of your current points into, like, strength or something to increase damage, I feel like I do. It's a B+ move for a B+ player like... Brother, he's out here making dudes bleed in every match. I think you should collect your own bounty. Dude, I gotta take myself out. Can't be taken out if I take myself out. Points to the temple of my head. I just give Triple H a shitload of money and then he's on his way. I like that. I think that's solid I think that's solid brain work right there. That's some solid brain function right there. All right, we're off. Let's see what's this week. The bit, no, dude, it's gotta be Kane. It's gotta be Kane. Like I said before, Triple H, if you want this puck egg on the shelf, I'm just the guy to take care of it for you. That's all well and good, but the last guy to say that got his ass kicked. I want you to do the job.
Hello, Mario.
I want you to do the job. You'll lay down for me, and make me look good in the ring in a world title match, several times over, but we're gonna do it right, with no mistakes. You're gonna team up with Randy Orton in a handicap match against Egg. If, no win, you win, you'll get the bounty. Just leave Orton the carcass. Are we clear? Perfectly clear. You tell Orton I'll see him in the ring. All I need is a few minutes with the guy, and then he's all yours. And that bounty will be all mine. Just get the job done. It wasn't until later promos he started speaking in his own voice. In his first few promos, he had a monotonous, robotic voice. Dude, honestly, that's his canon voice to me. I've come back to make you pay for taking
Hello,
my
Mario.
shit.
Mama.
Hi, Dark Raven. How are you? That was my Titantron, you son of a bitch. Also, chat, I don't know if, like... I don't know how many of you were here for the last stream of Backyard Baseball. But when we were playing it... Don't worry, Kate is the gloat. You'll have no problem. Here's fucking hoping, brother. Anyways, Backyard Baseball. In one of the fields, there was a video board. And because I'm a fucking wrestling nerd... I called that video board the Titantron. Because yes, that's exactly what it is. It's not the video board, it's the goddamn God-fearing Titantron. And don't you forget it. Man, dude, I put in all of that work into a custom entrance and it gets used once. Kane is the gloat. Titantron sounds like something a kid would name the video board. I don't even mean that derogatorily. Dude, you're right. Like, you go to, like, a Little League game, and, like, Timmy sees the video board for the first time, and he's, like, mesmerized over how big it is. And he's like, oh, geez, that's, like... Dad, that right there is the Titantron! And his dad... It's like, that's right, Timmy. That's right. And then he gives him a head pat and a hot dog. There's no joke. Their dynamic is just very wholesome. There is no joke there. Their dynamic is just wholesome. And then the kid gets on the video board, he's like, look, Dad, I'm on the Titantron! And then his father starts calling it the Titantron around, around him. Just to appease him. I don't know, listen, for once these hypotheticals, I want to be positive. I want a positively masculine dad. Okay? We need more positively masculine fathers in this world. Anyways. You're gonna pay for stealing my gimmick, you piece of shit. You fish-looking freak. But no, you're so right. It does sound like something a kid would name it. It's good. Do you think that Triple H planned for this match in his goddamn simulations, chat? When he was playing a Day of Reckoning on the GameCube, do you think he planned for this? He was thinking to himself, you know who I would put in this game? In this game, Kane, maybe. Or maybe he didn't, dude. Oh my god, we're floating!
Hello, Mario.
I feel like paying off the ref wasn't in the cards initially. This wasn't part of my simulations, but fuck it, we ball. Also, hi, Idea Maker. Oh my god! Ah! Delayed vertical suplex. That's incredible offense from the gloat Kane. I'll admit, Kane,
no, as
I'm sorry. What was that, Homunculus? Also, is Ace gimmick that he was a dominatrix? No. No, his gimmick is that he's hard-boiled. Does this not give that off?
Oh, sorry, that was me experiencing digestion for the first time.
Oh my god, dude, all those Cheetos were going down at once. Every single, whoa! Dude, every single Cheeto was like, go, hey! Hey, you! No! But that was supposed to be the finish. What are you doing? He was like experiencing every last preservative all at once, being shot up into his brainstem. That's insane. Ain't no way, Glenn. Waste it, waste it, waste it. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Dude, why is he jorking it over there? Stop jorking your paninas, Randy. Stop, you need to hit the weights, brother. Stop using those injections. Man, Randy's getting scared, dude. You can tell. Randall Keith is getting scared. Let's go. Ooh, nice. Are you saying that goddamn Egg Hachi's on the juice? Because I think that you're being really unfair to him. These are natural gains. These are all natural fucking gains. Straight from the lab. I mean the fucking weight room. Straight from the lab. I mean the lateral press. Yes, I meant lateral press. Okay, now you can pick them up.
Why do I see burnt through paper cups then?
I see burnt through paper cups then. And listen, I mean, that's the power he gives off, you know? That's what we call aura juice. Whoa, what the fuck was that? We call that straight aura. No, 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 we're not doing that. Straight aura, is that an oxymoron for Egachi? No! I'm gonna stop you in your tracks right. Ah! Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna stop you in your tracks. I need a minute. Oh, fuck. I need to fucking stop doing that, dude. Oh, no. Not the frickin' side slam. The Kane side slam? No way. Stop doing that. Straight auras. He's suddenly treating Kane like he's Andre the Giant. I know. Kane sucks. Stop fucking jorking your paninas over there, dude. I thought they were saying stop it. Stop the damn match. This match fucking sucks. Stop it. Fuck you, Kane! Holy shit! Egachi won the test of strength? Wow! Now that's straight aura. Or the gay... Rather, that's gay aura. Chat, what if we call this finisher the gay agenda? Do we think that would be something, or am I cooking with, like, rat poison? What? Oh my god, I would love it if Randy just, like, gets himself disqualified. No, you're right. You're right, the gay agenda sounds more like a signature. Which means that's what the Michinoku driver should be called, right? I think that's what the Michinoku driver needs to be called, right? So I know that this was oh fuck. Calling the Michinoku driver a SIG. Yes. I realize it's one of more. Oh fuck! Whoa! Dude, I'm gonna bust open Kane here.
1, 2, 3.
No, come on. But no, we did in fact, we have won more matches with the Michinoku driver than we have the goddamn, okay. Okay. I did in fact jinx it, yes. My bad. My fucking bad, brother. But no, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to fucking just go after Kane here. Itajiri can score a 5-star match out of Kane. Dude. Dude, that's like a Legacy NL reference. Wow. I love that. A Legacy, new Legacy reference? That's crazy. Nice! The game is like running slower. LNL. I want him to just attack the referee enough to where he fucking disqualifies himself like Lance Storm did. I will never forget that our first match on Raw was a DQ win against Lance Storm and goddamn and Val Venus. Dude, you're kidding me. Are we actually gonna like squash Kane here after we got demolished by him in the last match? Believe in the egg, lest you get cooked. Lest your brain gets scrambled. Underestimate this man, and your brain will get scrambled. Fuck. Get up! Michinoku driver! The gay agenda is here!
Break!
And like, the fucking BMA needs to be called the Bone Scrambler. Either that or we call it the Bone Cracker. Actually, no, we need to switch it around. The Michinoku driver is called the Bone Cracker. I think that the Michinoku driver is the Bone Cracker. Meanwhile, the goddamn BME is the gay agenda. I feel like that's the music, you know?
Break!
Point is, believe in the egg. Considering how often it looks like egg lands on them with his crotch legs, it's fitting. I know. we does the BME. Yeah. That right there is the gay agenda. Not the sidewalk slam! No. Dude, Why do you keep doing that? You look like you're gonna go for the Kane clothesline, but you never do. Are you stupid? Why does he never go for the Kane clothesline despite setting it up, chat? Is he stupid? Alright. Bone cracker time. It's the bone cracker! And then the piece de la resistance. The gay agenda! Oh fuck. No! Gay people can't go to hell. Please. No! I don't want to be bred! No! Gay people can't go to hell! No. No, not again! You're going to super hell? Fuck! Dude, are you kidding me? This egg is fried in hellfire. No kidding, dude. Are you kidding me? 3 choke slams! Dude, and I'm getting up for the 3rd one! From the 3rd one! He's getting up! He's getting up!
It's almost time for a 2.5-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
The gay agenda will be realized! Tits down tonight! Dude, what the fuck? Stop kicking my ass! Ow! Ow! No! 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 Yeah! Dude, that's Raw. That's Monday Night Raw. Okay, fine. We're gonna run an ad.
It's break time. Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Okay, I need, like, proper music for this when we come back. Wow.
Like Illusion of Gaia, Earthbound comes
I'll be back in a
with
few
load of
minutes,
hints
chat.
if you need.
I did not expect Kane to be this hard. But I'm locking in.
Break!
I completely forgot that Randy Orton's even a part of this match, chat. He's just like a nuisance that comes in and breaks my shit up. No way! He's literally a nuisance that just comes in and breaks up my shit. DQ? What? Okay, sure. For all you know, Kane could have hit you. Goddamn Mikey Yoda. Well, now I know you. Well, now I know you're a crooked ref.
Break!
I didn't realize Kane took me stealing his Titantron so personally. I'm sorry. No. Mike is calling it down the middle like, fuck he is. He doesn't know what hit him at all. And also, I couldn't control that. He should have gone out of the way. He should have fucking gone out of the way instead of standing right next to Kane like a fucking idiot. Ah, yes, I see a flying man right there. Allow me to stand directly in his path. Genius. Big brain plays. Fucking running the international is Mike Chioda. Nice. I'm building up that momentum.
1, 2.
Okay. I was about to say. No. I will not allow you to do that, Glenn. Randall. Saw humorous after Red Bull. Richard Horowitz and Maurice LaMarche played Devil's End. Mrs. Devil gets angel wings after drinking Red Bull. I legit, dude, my brain chemistry has been altered so much to where I thought that I saw like a fuck ice sign right there. What the flip, dude? Why did I flip? Okay, going back in the ring. Capitalizing already. What the fuck? Kane! I hate you! I hate you, Kane! I hate you, Kane! A phrase I'm pretty sure that you're used to hearing by now. I hate you, Kane! Gonna have freaking Hangman send you that video of the top 10 chair shots to your fucking skull again. Go! Damn it. Fine, ow! No! I want the bone cracker! No! What the? What? Ah! Randall! You're coded! Now then, die. Oh shit. No, not me too! Dude, that's awesome! Wow! He is out for everyone here, is Randy. And his baby blue fucking trunks. An absolutely crazy tight design I will never get over is the baby blue fucking trunks. Yeah, I need to like increase my goddamn strength here because this is bad. This is very bad. Okay, ref, you saw that. You saw that, ref. DQ him. DQ him when you get back up. Okay, You're not gonna DQ him? You're not gonna DQ him. Okay, yeah. He's a fucking crooked ref, chat.
1, 2.
I'm gonna kill you, Randy. I'm gonna kill you where you stand. I will fucking strip you of your humanity and leave you where you stand. Dude, I cannot do any lifting moves to Kane because despite being a completely muscle-bound idiot, I can't do lift moves to him. He's simply too heavy. There's too much of Kane here. So, like, I don't really want to bust him open. I just want to move on to the next match, chat. Especially now that we've lost 3 times to him. I think that's more than enough. We have done our time here. I just need to put him away. I just need to put this big fucker away. Alright. The bone! Cracker! One more. And again, the bone! Cracker! Don't you fucking dare, my Kiana! I'm gonna kill you, man. You're gonna die, I guarantee it. Friggin' John Zandig style. Jesus! God damn it. No. What are you, blind? Jesus! Jesus! No. No, please, dude! I genuinely think if he hits me with one of these, I'm done. No! Alright, well, I better hope this isn't it. I better hope that Egg Hachi just gets right back up. No, he will. What the? Huh? Where did all of my things go? Where did it all go? I'm sorry. Where the fuck did my fucking momentum go? Ah! No. No.
Break.
Okay. I need to put Kane away fast. You fucking bitch, Randy. You bitch. You man-child. No. What? No. If you DQ me, I swear to God. Okay. Good. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm gonna hit you with 2 bone crackers, you goddamn son of a bitch. Eat my shit. Deep cover. 1, 2. No! Really? Wow. Dude, fucking fight forever chance indeed. Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. 4 bone crackers. And he's not down. I'm throwing a tantrum. Oh shit. It's a stalemate here between these two gladiators. I'm moving you to the fucking center, bitch. Bone cracker! Does that say, don't you dare? Don't you dare. 1, 2, 3. 3. It's 3, chat. Oh my god, it's 3. Oh my god, it's 3. It's 3. It's 3. No. How about you go fuck yourself forever, Bri? Well, it seems that based on your behavior in recent weeks, Randy Orton doesn't want to let this feud go. And if I know the Intercontinental Champion, he's also anxious to see it right through to its bitter end. So, in the interest of selling this once and for all, let me see if I can help by upping the stakes just a bit. Next week, right here on Raw, we're gonna see if you two gentlemen can solve your differences in a cell. Hell in a Cell, to be more specific. Yes, it's going to be you, Randy Orton, versus you, Egg, in a non-title Hell in a Cell match. Non-title? Why should I get into a cell next week if it's not for a championship? This punk stole my title 2 weeks ago. I deserve a chance to win it back. Randy, you are so focused on the here and now that you fail to see the big picture. Let me see if I can explain it to you. You see, as you may be aware, in just 2 weeks' time, the WWE is going to be holding its very special cross-brand pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble. You know, the 30-man over-the-top event where the winner gets a world title shot. Well, as the GM of this fine program, I was able to procure the number 29 entry slot from one very lucky member of Raw. Who that person is, however, is still undecided. Fortunately, I know of at least 2 worthy candidates deserving of this very advantageous distinction. And they are standing in that very ring right this minute. So as I promised, I've raised the stakes for your next match. Your match is not going to be for the prestigious Intercontinental title. Oh, no. The stakes are even higher. Higher than the belt, which means nothing now. The winner of next week's Hell in a Cell match will earn the number 29 spot at the Royal Rumble. Number 29 spot? That sounds great. Let's do it. But let me finish. With great reward comes great risk. You see, the man who loses next week's Hell in a Cell match will not be in the Royal Rumble at all. Oh, well, I mean, I have a championship. I don't really need to be in the Royal Rumble. If I'll be perfectly honest, I kind of feel like that since I'm the IC champion, I should maybe focus on defending my championship and not going for the world title. I just kind of feel like that should be how it works. But Eric, Father, when can I go out on my own? Chad, have you seen like that fucking Lionsgate movie that, right? Like the trailer for that Lionsgate movie that has like zesty Pinocchio in it. And he's like, "Father, when can I go out on my own?" It's so funny. It's so fucking hilarious. If I find it, I'll send it in the fucking Discord. But literally, it's like you got the trailer shots, you got the goddamn Lionsgate logo, and I guess Pinocchio, or like the boy version of Pinocchio, riding a horse, and he says, like, in the sauciest voice of all time, "Father, when can I go out on my own? I have my own destiny," or something like that. And it's so fucking funny. Because, like, it just kind of, it just hits you over the head. It's just so, like, out of left field. Alright. Let's go ahead. Let's do the Rumble, brother. We're gonna spread the gay agenda. In hell. Chat. The gay agenda will be realized in heck. Look at beltless Randy Orton, the fucking chud. The stupid chode. It may be a mystery, but what isn't a mystery is that Egg has the Intercontinental Championship. And not only that, he also has the World Tag Team Championship, which Randy Orton apparently doesn't have anymore. I guess those are just vacated. Either that or they're back with the Bashams, the whip crackers as we call them here in the sport. I gotta say, the idea of, like, Booker T being Randy Orton and The Big Show being Ric Flair is so fucking crazy to me. Like, I feel like that shouldn't be the case. I feel like that should be, like, I don't know, Booker T is Flair and Charlie is Randy. Bonecracker no more. Well, he still has the music, you know? We kept that part of his presentation. Incredible. But listen, we've also taken to calling our Michinoku driver the Bonecracker. Alright, Hell in a Cell. I have no clue how these are in this game, but I've heard that they're pretty good. Here. Teddy, are you still here? I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know if you're still here. But I want to make sure I get the most out of this match type here. Oh, finally it hits! It hits! Finally! Oh my god, we have so much room for activities out here. Yeah, I know. Yeah, like if he's here, he's lurking. Which I wholly appreciate. But standing here, I realize, chat, that Randy Orton is just like me. Oh my god! Wow! Dude, no way! So it seems like I can do quite a bit out here, but I want to see just how far I can take it. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure that winning this is the only option. Damn it. It's like they need to be like perpendicular to me in order for like any like big crazy spots to happen. He's nothing like you, for he's only a punk and a liability. No, yeah, I'm giving him way too much credit. It's because of him that me and Batista aren't pals anymore. You know? Like, listen. Akachi may say that he doesn't want anything to do with Batista, but we all know that's a lie. We see the sexual tension there. You know? We know that Akachi wants to pucker up those fish lips and get a smooch from the animal. But he's a little scared because he doesn't know if Batista feels the same about him. That's my headcanon with these characters now. So far, he's smashing the soon-to-be Apex Predator. There is a lot of smashing going on in this match, I will give you that. It's all one elaborate love triangle. Oh, what? Goddamn Akachi, Randy Orton, and Batista. All of them are having gay sex. Meanwhile, Triple H is sitting there like, this wasn't in my simulations. Oh no, it's a Young Gun Yowie. Young Gun Yowie? Oh my god, that's so cool. Listen, dude, if Hangman and Swerve has showed us anything, wrestling is always good when there's sexual tension. Alright? It's always made better with sexual tension. Meanwhile, Triple H is like, wait, this wasn't in my simulation. Is what I would say if I wasn't into that shit. Luckily, that is my shit. I don't think that's a genuine name. I don't think that's a genuine genre name, but it's funny. What the fuck? Okay. We didn't even get to do anything in this match, I feel like. That wasn't funny. No, it wasn't. The next bit, however, is not funny. That wasn't funny. He wasn't supposed to win. No, he wasn't. But honestly, like, again, I don't really think I need to win this. Me and my piss-soiled britches here don't need to win this. I already have a belt. I don't need to be in the Rumble. Yeah, I should be on the show, but I should be on it defending my fucking IC belt. You know? Dude, if Young Gun Yowie isn't a thing, it needs to be a thing. For one, because of alliteration, and I love alliteration. And two, because it feels like something that has already happened, you know? But you can make it double belts, but I already have double belts, I think. I don't know. I mean, the game just kind of did a Chris Jericho in 2011, and it forgot about a title. in favor of another. Is the bone cracker getting his bones cracked? Unfortunately. Why? Then make it triple belt. Dude, Egg Hachi's gonna be more decorated than a goddamn Gira by the time Day of Reckoning 1 and 2 are done. Because friggin' Gira has... He has belts in like 4 different promotions. Decorated than Sheamus in WWE 12.
1, 2.
And then it's all gonna... God damn it. And then it's all gonna come down thanks to Triple H, just like in this game. Oh no. Hold on. Alright, there we go. We're fine. My totally legit GameCube was having a problem. It almost crashed. I'll give it that. Vince, why did you put this much yaoi into SmackDown into WWE Day of Reckoning? Well, fortunately, I'm into that shit. Wait, why am I fucking mixing Vince and Triple H? They couldn't handle Randy winning. It was like, no, that right there is too shitty. He's not supposed to be the GOAT right now. I mean, they both have the same creative impulses. Well, I'm into that shit! No way, so am I! But, let's not tell anyone, I fear for my fragile masculinity. So do I! You, want to set up a Telegram account? Share fun videos between each other? Absolutely, They're shimmying. No fucking way, dude. They do both have similar creative impulses, yes. But what they don't understand is that wrestling needs to be gay. Crucially, they don't understand that. I keep missing my spots, dude. Here, listen. We are unfortunately kind of, getting a bit late into the game, so I should probably, make sure we can fucking finish this at the Rumble.
Egachi, worrying about his spot. Well, he can have his spots. His bald spots.
His bald spots. Aww. Well, listen. Fortunately, he's very positive about his baldness. fair enough. Can I leave the cell? Not one RKO, please. He beat Danny Basham with that move! God damn it! These mashes are tough, dude. Guess egg not going to the Rumble? Well, listen, Triple H restarted his simulation. He saw that's not what was supposed to happen. Anytime that someone besides the intended winner wins a match, Triple H just resets the simulation. And he does it until he gets the result he wants. It's like fucking shuffling a playlist until you get like a song you actually want to listen to. So what you're saying is Triple H wants a Hachi to win? Absolutely. Who won? I guess Randy Orton wouldn't want it. But fuck Randy Orton, you know? Fuck Batman. I'm gonna fucking murder you, dude. I'm gonna kill you. I fucking pressed L! I pressed L!
1, 2.
And I took the L. Again! Randy's a young lion. He's got no say in this. Dude, I'm not even gonna leave the cell at this point. I don't even want to leave the ring, which is why I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay, you know what? The fucking more I play this, the more I'm like, yes, I'm glad that future wrestling games only have one reversal button. Because moves come out so fast that you have absolutely no, like, way to figure it out. I hate two reversal buttons. I have learned to not become a fan of them throughout the course of this, I will say. Because I find it almost impossible to predict, like, what... right, like, what's actually gonna come out. Call it a skill issue. I will accept that. But I don't like it very much. Okay. Stop reversing my fucking... Oh, hey! We're out! In the match I said I wasn't gonna leave is the one that we leave. Stop reversing my Irish whip, you fuck! Ow! Fine, you know what? No! Meet me out here! God damn it! Here's your bald spot. Every single thing he reverses, dude. It's like a 50-50 chance, it feels like. Oh! Come on, you bitch! Unity! This right here is a real standing here I realize moment. Wow! At least you climb faster. I do. Oh boy, it's breaking. Michinoku Breaker, the Bone Breaker! Woo! No! You want the 29 spot so bad!
It's almost time for 2.5 minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Chad, I'm sorry. It has to be this way. We need to run the ad. If I had a nickel for every time there were matches involving Hell in the Cells, and it has to be this way.
It's break time.
I'd have
the Cheetos, my dudes.
I'd have 2 of them. The first was in my e-fed. Add on a pay-per-view, I want a refund. This right here is Raw, dude. This right here is just an episode of Raw. You're getting this for free.
Jerks to Sega in the past,
I'm gonna go and get a
Blast is
friggin'
title that
food
shocks
bar
and stuns
real fast.
all who play it.
I'm gonna get a
It
slot
shows
bar.
just how much juice the Game Gear still has in it. With a game like Sonic Blast, we here at Flights of Fantasy believe the Game Gear will last for a whole nother decade. Is it realistic? Maybe, maybe not. But it's more realistic than that old clunker, the Game Boy, lasting just as long. The best feature in Sonic Blast is the graphics. The dithering is even worse here than it was in Toy Story, but the fact there are graphics like this on the Game Gear is incredibly impressive, especially in the game's bonus stages, which are sure to mesmerize gamers everywhere. We say that the Game Boy should be jealous of Sega, but we don't know if Sonic Blast used Silicon Graphics computers to bring its visuals to life. Everyone knows the incorporation of SGI computers was key to making Nintendo's Donkey Kong Country.
Very true stuff here from
today.
frickin' Dark Raven.
If the same can be said for Sonic Blast, we may have a legendary title on our hands. And if you thought the graphics on Game Gear were good, wait until you see what they're like on the Genesis. Here's a look at the opening to Sonic's new adventure.
Very true and correct things being said by Dark Raven there. If anything, this Hell in a Cell match needs to have Dude Wipes as a sponsor, because the amount of times I'm losing is making me shit myself in frustration, not in joy. That's a whole other set of circumstances.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Alright. We can do this. How the fuck did falling through
It's
the cell
almost time for a
not hurt you?
2.5 minute Pizza Hut break, dudes.
Moo dudes? I mean, that's what Pizza Hut will do to you. It'll make you forget how to type things. God, the AI is trying its best, dude. Get fucked. Fuck you, Randy. I'm taking advantage of your ineptitude, dude. This right here is why you didn't win the IC title.
Father, where are you? Have you transmorphed into a leather chair?
I transmorphed into it for the remainder of this match, son. I'm sorry. But Daddy needs to lock in. Because violence breeds violence, and that's all I've got in my head right now. I'm going to make him bleed. How about I make this guy bleed? No. Not after I fucking did all of that work up there on the top. No! Not after all that work on the top, you bitch. Great! Bone cracker! And now, the gay agenda. Ah! No! No! No, okay. No. I need to hit the gay agenda, dude. Fucking stay down, you. I will hit the gay agenda, you bitch. Bone cracker. Another piece de la resistance. Are you kidding me? Okay, fine. You know what? The SIG doesn't necessarily need to hit into the finish. A signature doesn't necessarily need to lead to the finisher. The finisher could just pop out if it wants to. But it would be nice for it to go. No. Okay. I got you. No. Not yet. The gay agenda. No, fuck. No! Please! No, please! No! 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 Fuck! Just like Gohan versus Cell. Dude, you're right. Holy fucking shit. Dude. This man has beaten me. He had a good thing going, but your pride. We had a good thing going, you stupid son of a bitch. But no. You just had to blow it up. You And your pride and your ego? Okay, fine. No nonsense this time. Mulligan. Egg fryer to Randy Orton. All ships are valid, Dan. Even robots and people. Or, I guess, horses in this case. It is not odd, it is just different. Egg Hachi's going insane for Groundhog Day. He's even attacking the ref. Thankfully, he knows he can't be DQ'd. So he can attack whoever he wants. I fucking hit R! You bitch! Yes. Yes, including what you just said, Dan. They are just dolls at the end of the day. In 2026, we are fine with that freak shit. Such as being a chair instead of a giraffe for 5 minutes because you just want to defeat Randy Orton so bad. Dude, okay. Okay, I am very close to backing out of this and checking the difficulty because there's no way that this can be this hard. Yeah, I'm backing out. I'm backing out.
Of course, you realize by transmorphing into a chair, you have relinquished your long boy status, and ergo you are no longer president of this club.
Okay, you know what? I'm putting my status.
Hello, Mario.
I'm putting my status up on the line. Right now. Alright? I'm gonna back out. I'm gonna decrease the difficulty because I would like to finish this game. Hi, Patootie. I'm about to do something drastic in order to beat Randy Orton here tonight. I'm gonna back out. I'm going to game settings. I'm gonna go into easy, which I could have sworn was already there, but it wasn't. I'm gonna face Randy Orton again. If I lose, I relinquish the stream. I thought you were gonna shoot Randy. I mean, I might shoot on Randy, but I don't know about shoot. Yeah, exactly. I could shoot on Randy, but like, I don't think shooting him is gonna be good. I don't think that's part of Triple H's simulation. Damn, imagine doing that on Expert. I don't even know if this is gonna do anything. It could very well not do anything. But I need to try. And now, here's what I'm gonna do. I will relinquish my status as Love Boy Club president if I can't beat Randy Orton right here, right now. Hey, hey, Hoochie on some freaky stuff. Dude, we're on that freak shit this year. In the Long Boy Club, okay? We are on that freak shit. Boo! Hey, Brian, why don't you use some of those boos that you keep sending my way and throw them at him? JD Vance.
Thank you for keeping the seats warm all these years, Father.
I will relinquish it to you, homunculus. If I can't beat him here in this next attempt. JD Vance X Couch Senpai. Couch fucker. Okay, well, we can make fun of JD Vance for that because JD Vance is because JD Vance is a fucking dick. But when it's just some random on Blue Sky making some fun ship art, then we ship and let ship, you know? JD Vance wants to get pegged. Exactly, he wants to. But there's a difference between wanting to do it and being able to pull it off. To quote JBL when talking about Mr. Kennedy in SmackDown vs. Raw 28, there's a big difference between wanting to do it and being able to pull it off. Or pull one out, as they would say. He can't pull it off, or pull it out, as one would say. So would JD Vance just glue a dildo on a couch to get pegged? I'm gonna stop you right there, brother. I'm gonna fucking put on this before I goddamn get myself DMC'd. Before I get myself blicked. Locking in. I would have laughed if that was it, dude. Yeah, he's still reversing all my shit. That would have been funny as hell. I know. The first pin. It's like, damn, this is easy. I will answer that after this match, Dan. Just give me a second. I am locked in. There's so much on the line here. I'm about to fucking... He really does just catch everything. The ones he loves. Being Batista. In his hands, he holds Batista. No! Dude, his fucking stinking eyes just look so much... They just look so much more obvious now that he doesn't have the goggles on. Everything he reverses, dude! I could not imagine playing this on Expert. I don't even think this is on Easy right now. I would be shocked if this was on Easy. Like, this is genuinely insane. Maybe you have to change it in story mode. I don't think there's options in season, so you just need to fucking grit and bear it. I am going to frigging end his bloodline right here. Fucking leapfrog from Randy Orton. Also, I could set defeat. I will fucking... I will fucking admit it after this match. See, like, this right here is what I don't like, right? I don't like doing a match 10 fucking times to win it. You know? This right here is what I don't like. Because then I can't really focus on the stream. I need to focus on actually being, like, locked into the game. Like, this right here just feels like a war of attrition. This is fucking bad. I am not a fan of this. Like, I don't know, I was like having fun with this before, but this right here, I hate this. I hate this very much. Like, what the... Like, the only thing that's hard about this is that he reverses all my bullshit! Like, that's the difficulty. You just can't do anything. And then you lose from one RKO like you're Danny Basham. I don't want to be Danny Basham. I want to be Egg. But apparently Egg is hot dog shit now. Because Randy Orton decided to friggin' lock in to Triple H's simulation in the back. And now he knows all, and I repeat all, of Egg Hachi's offense. Yeah, no frills about this one. I'm just gonna fucking throw it in there and we're gonna do our best to just get this done.
One, two.
At least when it was like a more of attrition in tag team matches, it was funny to a point because, you know, the AI was also just really dumb. Meanwhile, like, the opponent AI was like scholarly bullshit. You know? Okay! Okay, no way. Freaking Mike Chioda, you crooked ref. Exactly, he's just gonna reverse that now. I may as well not even try. Or RVD. Wait, what do you mean RVD? RVD is not like Danny Basham, if that's what you're implying. Danny Basham had no limb damage, and he went down to 1 RKO. Like, he had, like, no involvement in the match up until that point, and then he goes down to a single move. That's not the same. RVD probably would have survived at least one. I, however, will not, so I need to make sure that I'm not getting on the receiving end of that. I meant in terms of selling the move. Like, look at this. He's just reversing all my stuff. What can you do about that? There's really not much you can do about that. Besides just hope that they don't. Rigged. Genuinely. It's rigged. I hate to... Jesus! And now... Listen. Reset. Reset right there. Orton does suck. I hate him. I hate this guy, man. I hate him. I wish nothing but ill on his... Dude, I wish bad things to happen to him digitally in Minecraft. Like, the fact that this is a Hell in a Cell match doesn't even register in my brain anymore. I just want to get this done. The fun thing is, again, like, I don't even care if I'm in the Royal Rumble or not. I'd rather honestly not be in it. I have a title. I'm fine. I got 2 titles, really. I'm okay. I'm probably making more money than Triple H is right now. Because of my 2 titles. I wouldn't be surprised if I was making more money because of it. Of course, money isn't everything in this business, but it definitely helps. Can she not use weapons? I could use weapons. But they could also interrupt me like that. And then use them themselves. And just completely just make me eat shit. Dude, can I pick that up? Holy shit. Okay, you know what? That's good. I will give it that. That's good. Fucking, like, Johnny Test whip crack is good. That's it. Ref! Get out here! Are you stupid? Falls count anywhere?
1, 2, 3.
Eat shit, Orton. Eat all the shit. Wow. Eat my entire asshole, Orton. Wow. That is egg hot she. Yeah! And I'm back in the chair. Phew. Okay. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm okay. So, Egg, you just won that brutal. Not so fine anymore. Ouch. So, Egg, you've just won that brutal Hell in a Cell match. Seemingly your feud is now over. But more importantly, you've earned the coveted number 29 entry into the Royal Rumble next week.
Oops,
of course, we all
I
know
wonder
that the
who
winner
left
of the
those
Rumble...
hanging by a thread.
Oh yeah, you want me to address the elephant in the room, huh? Alright, give me a second. Of course, we all know that the winner of the Rumble gets a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship title, currently held by Triple H at WrestleMania. Seemingly, the only thing standing between you and a future title shot is your old running buddy Ric Flair, who holds the number 30 spot. Yeah, I know that Flair has a number 30 spot at the Rumble. Wait, they're unveiling this? But I can't let that worry me. I intend to go out there at number 29 and earn my shot at WrestleMania. Whoever or whatever stands in my... Oh, dude, you are the 0 to my X, Rick. You got no chance, you hear me? Not you or any of the other 28 peons. You're all wasting your time because the Nature Boy is going to win the Royal Rumble. Woo! Send for the man. 18! Go fuck yourself, man. Coachman starting shit. I know! Fucking instigating little shit. I am saving right now. Okay, anyways. Chat, I'm being absolute 100% for real when I ask this. Okay? I'm being 10,000% real. Alright? I don't want any bullshit answers. I don't want Bri coming in here being sarcastic about it. I want... I don't mean to pick on Bri, that's been the running theme with them, I've noticed. I want full, honest answers. Do you or do you not? Or rather, would you or would you not want to see a stream where Homunculus is in the chair and I just fucking say nothing? And you guys, like, make him, like, react to whatever it is I'm doing on stream. That seems more like a YouTube shorter video. That feels like it would get old. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, too. You know? If I do that, it would need to be a gimmick. It would need to be a really solid gimmick. You know? I'll keep it in the back pocket and I'll workshop it, alright? It wouldn't be like a next week thing, it would be kind of like a whenever in the future I have time for it thing. But, I feel like that I could flesh it out a bit. Maybe, if I find time for it. But right now I'm focusing on a lot of things, so... Into the back pocket it goes. And into the ring we go. I realize that... Oh my gosh, okay. It would feel like an April Fool's thing. Well, I already have an April Fool's thing in mind. Join Royal Rumble in progress. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're just gonna go... John Cena and Eddie Guerrero! Oh my god, dude, I forgot these games... Dude, I forgot these guys were in the game. Not, like, no lie. No meme, I forgot that these games were... I forgot these guys were in this fucking video game. We're starting out hot with Eddie and Cena? Wow. Epic first two. I mean, these are 27 and 28. Here comes 29, though. Egg Hachi. Also, you mean people aren't in the Evolution Cyclone? No! Seriously! WWE has more things going on, I guess. Maybe. Cena does have a drop kick, I guess. There are people who are not involved in the Evolution Vortex. You would think not. But it's more likely than you think. God damn, the story's been so laser focused on Evolution. I know! You forget there's a whole ass program going on. Or like, you forget there's a whole ass show going on. Man, everyone's ganging up on Egachi. Eddie Guerrero's like, you don't need to be in this match, SA. You already have a championship. Oh, fuck. You bitch! Mission failed. He was moonwalking away. God damn, the story's been so laser focused on Evolution. To its detriment, quite frankly. Yeah. I'm not used to a story that doesn't give you really any freedom to speak of. Because this has been so laser focused on telling its story, and while that's fine, I guess, it doesn't really leave a lot of room in the tank for replays, you know? You keep breathing room from Evolution sometimes. Yeah, I mean, like, there was... You know, there were other things you could do. I do remember that Cena is the HBK at the SmackDown side. Of course he is. Do we not have anyone that's more tenured on the on the SmackDown side? Someone that's more familiar with The Undertaker? Ah, yes. I, John Cena, in 2004, am very familiar with the inner machinations of The Undertaker, who I now know is trying to pay you off. Fuck you, John. I don't think, you know what? I don't think anything's ever gonna happen with that kid. Especially after a Rumble
It's almost time
like
for a
that.
2.5-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Alright, we'll do our last break of the night, and then we'll do it. Cena's the HBK at the SmackDown
It's
side
break
is
time.
great.
Where the heck's the Cheetos, my dudes?
Our next pick is Tomb Raider 3, starring the buxom Lara Croft.
The
This is
buxom
what every
Lara
woman
Croft,
should do
chat.
who feels she must live up to the image perpetuated by the likes of Lara. The best feature of Tomb Raider 3 is not Lara herself. It's the outstanding level design of Heather Gibson.
And then if you look along this side of the editor...
Oh
I've
boy,
got a
we get to
selection
hear
of
about the
textures that I can
baddies
use on this
again.
map. We can then go on to apply the textures to these areas. So it's just a matter of...
No, like in SVR06,
textures
you had,
onto
you know, the story with
faces
fucking
that are
Eugene
displayed within the
and
new
Regal.
editor. We can apply a
There was
light
potential for
to
the
the
final
room,
story to deviate
change
from
the
Evolution
ambience of
stuff,
that room,
you know?
change the range and the strength of the light to get that nice, moody atmosphere that we've we've got on most of the levels. And I can actually have a look at this room now if I go into preview and fly around and see how it looks. And also we can trigger all the baddies within this system. So that means that when we place our dogs or cult members...
There's like a lot of people we haven't even seen in this game yet. Like, not even just like from the SmackDown side, but also like from the Raw side as well.
Dog and trigger it so that when Lara crosses this trigger point here, the dog...
Or at least like a few.
...allows the player to run...
Is Edge considered a SmackDown guy in this game?
...and have the sense that something different's happening because the baddies are still coming through, but they might...
And Christian. Granted, it was still Evolution focused and pales in comparison to SmackDown. But, you know. Yes, I mean, like, the SmackDown story was based in that game.
Did you ever wonder what Lara looked like without her clothes on? That's it. Gotcha. The old wire mesh trick.
Like, it had, like, an overarching thing of, like, who hit Teddy Long? You know? And they were, like, laser focused on telling that story and having you contribute to that, you know? Anyways, hold on. No, I think Edge, he's on Raw at this point. Yeah, but, like, the game might put him on SmackDown here, because we've not seen him on Raw
Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Teddy, are you in chat? Can you tell me if you face Edge on SmackDown? Because I think the fact we've not seen him at all in this playthrough is weird. Dude, this is another battle of attrition. This is going to be insane, I feel like. Oh, hey! No, I know that, like, at this point, at least in the SmackDown vs. Raw companion game, you know, Edge is a Raw guy. But, like, you know, maybe the game isn't or maybe this game isn't fully updated to the point where it's like, oh, well, Edge is on Raw now. Maybe it still treats it like he's on SmackDown. Woo! Alright. What would you say is the most bizarre piece of wrestling merchandise you've ever seen? I would probably say, like, the WWE garden gnomes. Like, those just seem really weird, and I don't know what audience that's for. You know? Like, whenever I think of garden gnomes, I don't think of wrestling fans. I think of grandmas. You know? And I don't know what grandma's gonna want a CM Punk lawn gnome. Right? That just seems like that... It just kind of seems like that market doesn't really exist. Dude, is Ric Flair gonna be cracked? I think Ric Flair's gonna be cracked. Ah! Eddie, help me. What are you doing? I just think of Romeo and Juliet. Dude, that's crazy. Wow. Dude, he caught him. Alright, Eddie, you go first and I'll hit him with my shit. Ow! Okay, maybe not. I just think of Romeo and Juliet. Are you sure? Dude, Dude, either that or Sherlock Gnomes. That's the real shit. Is there any hard to obtain wrestling merchandise you want that you'd consider your holy grail? Not really. I mean, I feel like that, you know, a lot of the merchandise that I have right now, or the stuff that I want, is pretty accessible. But if I could have one piece of merchandise, you know, out of, like, any of the others, it would probably be the WWE cookbook. Mostly because, for one thing, I just think it's funny and weird. But also, you know, I actually really like to cook. And I think it would be fun to have a stream where it's literally just me cooking shit from the book. You know? I think that would be fun to do. Like, maybe we can make a 3-course meal from the book. Kayfabe kitchen. Yeah, exactly. I'll get my fucking roommate on and then we'll split the load of a 3-course meal. I think that would be really fun. We're gonna fucking Brian Zane this shit. But no, genuinely, I really like to cook. So, like, I would be very, very happy to do something like that. God, they made fucking Ric Flair look juiced as shit in this. It's insane. Stop reversing all my shit, you gross old man. Whoa! Holy shit! Dude, I didn't even try for anything there. Wow! Life-size big gold. Not exactly a holy grail or unattainable, but yeah, I get what you mean. Oh, no way! It's just down to the 2 top dogs of their respective brands. Hachi and Eddie Guerrero. Finally, something different. No! No! I need to shut up. I need to be quiet sometimes. I need to be quiet sometimes, chat. That would probably benefit me. Wait. Are you intentionally not using save states? Save states? Genuine question. No. I'm not intentionally not using save states. Hold on, let me check my hotkey here. Okay, let me check my hotkeys here. Give me just a second. Oh my god, you can fucking do Skylanders portals on this thing? Other state management. There. But no, I'm genuinely, like, not forgetting to use... Or, like, I'm genuinely just forgetting to use them. But maybe I should use them for, you know, the last bits of this playthrough. Just so we're not spending, you know, a long time on certain bits. Because I don't really have an issue with challenge. What I do have an issue with is the pace of the stream being bogged down with like, just... I mean, honestly, the AI is a cheating jerk, so... Yeah, like this. Alright, well, never mind. We're just gonna need to try that again. Fuck! Careful not to soft-lock yourself into never winning unless you restart. Right, so here's what I'm gonna do, right? Come on. Cool. To have the AEW Jazzwares Legacy of Sting 3-figure set. This includes Surfer, Crow, and Joker versions of Sting. That'd be pretty cool. I've never been much of a figure collector, though. I've been more of a poster guy, honestly. I love just, like, fucking clogging up. Was that a doggo bark I heard? You did indeed hear a doggo bark. That was Romeo. Well, I apologize, Hess, to see me rage like that. Alright. We're just bullying him, dude. You're just sitting there bullying goddamn John Cena for a minute. Whoa! Hey, man! Ow! Can you, like, give me a second here? Alright, we got this, bro. But no, I've never really been much of a figure guy. I like posters, though. Posters are my shit. You know what, Eddie? You can take care of him. I'm gonna go over here and taunt spam. No! Please. Get out of here, you fucking old hag! Do a striptease. I'm gonna make you waste that shit, you bitch. Oh no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay. Dude, he just keeps fucking reversing my stuff again. The set includes the Surfer, Crow, and Joker versions of Sting. Dude, there's some that doesn't exist. I really like to see become a reality. A WWE Elite figure of Owen Hart's Blue Blazer persona. I'm sorry, Dan. I cannot read all of that right now. I'm sorry for being a terrible streamer. Ow. But I need to lock in. Otherwise, we're never gonna get this done. Hey, no self-deprecation here. I will friggin' put you in the ground, Eddie. Yes. Yes, absolutely, Dan. More than anything! Eli Michinoku Driver. The Bone Cracker! Ooh, harsh in hindsight to say. That's heat, brother. I swear to God. Well, subscribe to Bully Ray's philosophy of building heat lighthearted. That's heat! No, I would absolutely love custom figures of the Giraverse cast. I think that would be the coolest thing ever, honestly. But the Bone Cracker! I mean, I'll be honest, we're having the match within the match here. Striptease. Let's do it. We're going to WrestleMania, brother. You did it again. Dude, what the fuck are you doing out here? The show's over. Well, all you people saw what happened here tonight. We saw a brutal Royal Rumble match to determine a #1 contender for a title shot at WrestleMania. A title shot for my belt, my World Heavyweight Championship belt. And I'm sure that all you idiots would like to see nothing better than me losing my belt in 2 months against the guy who won the Rumble just a few minutes ago. Well, before you get that image ingrained in your pathetic little minds, let me remind you of something. I am Triple H, the very best there is. I'm the greatest professional wrestler in the world today. I've defended this belt night after night after night, every week, every month, every year. That's why I am the very best there is. So, before you even think about this belt around the waist of anybody else, especially that insignificant jobber who won the Rumble, remember this. For as dangerous and formidable a force as I've been in my time in the WWE.
Talking, but all I'm hearing is stupid word salad.
Exactly, I know, right? I now intend to focus all that energy into one sole purpose, and that is to single-handedly put Egg out of wrestling. Let's face it, I brought him into this business. I gave him the privilege, the honor of joining forces with Evolution. In other words, I made Egg into everything he is today. No, let me correct myself. Not everything. I didn't make him the disappointment he's become. He did that to himself. Eric Biscoff did all of that. Triple H, I am also a shameless sellout to the current administration and the Saudi government. But now I am going to give him his place in history. Ancient history. When I finish it once and for all. And I can think of no better place and time to do that in front of the whole world at WrestleMania. The fucking, like, production guy is tapping his watch. Dude, fucking wrap it up. This isn't Raw. This is not the start of Raw. Okay, there he, there you go, he got the Iggy. Ended early, so I'm going 20 minutes, They're like tapping, dude, even the production team doesn't fuck with this. Where the fuck are we in the timeline here? I'll tell you where we are. We're at the end of stream. Oh, goodness. Okay. Number one contender for the heavy belt. The belt is heavy. Dude, I'm imagining Tribulation that won me of Mr. Krusty.
Hello, Mario.
You did in fact miss it. You did in fact miss it, Ashley. I'm sorry. We stream like earlier in the earlier in the night now. And around goddamn 7 o'clock. Twice a week, in fact. That was a headache, honestly. Hello, I like money. That's a TKO. Breathing down your neck. Sadly, my busy work morning. Aw. Well, I'm happy to have you here nonetheless, Ashley. I know I said I was going to do the favorite wrestler bingo after, you know, in the post show, but it's pretty late now and I need to be getting to bed. So, for the sake of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and raid out here. Let's see who's live. I will do the thing next time, I promise. Just remind me to do it, otherwise I'll probably forget. I found a new wrestling VTuber chat. Why don't we raid into them? They seem pretty cool. They're called Strawberry Moose. And they're watching wrestling right now. Indie wrestling. The mat looks absolutely dreadful. It is my kind of stream, chat. So why don't we go and raid into that right now? Hold on just a second. First of all, raid message. I do want to say thank you to everyone that fucking stuck with me throughout this. This was very tough. And I do enjoy the game still, but when the AI is a cheating bitch, it is very hard to maintain that same level of enjoyment. So, you know, I don't want to say I'm glad that we're wrapping this up next time, but let's just say that I'm looking forward to moving on to something else. Maybe Day of Reckoning 2, brother. No. Eventually. Some point this year. We'll do it. But for now, lots of progress, though. It really doesn't feel like it, though. Like, we fucking did, like, 5 matches, maybe, including the Rumble, in 4 hours. That's not a lot. And most of that time was spent getting our asses handed to us by Randy Orton. So, I will say this is probably the hardest story mode I've played. So I guess there's that. Trial and error. It really doesn't even feel like that. I feel like I'm just fucking... Alright. Anyways, let's start the raid. Again, thank you all very much for joining me tonight. On Saturday, we're either going to be doing more Yakuza, or this, or Backyard Baseball. One of the two. One of the two. Or rather, sorry, one of the three. I can't count. I can't count, chat. But yeah. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna raid into Strawberry Moose. They seem pretty cool. So, yeah, have a good night, everyone. I'm tired. Fuck the Randy Orton.